Why go the hard way? Why get dirty when you can stay clean? Why carry a heavy pack, sleep on the ground, deal with mosquitoes, cross freezing cold streams, and eat the same thing day in, day out? Why go backpacking? We went out on our annual 7-day trip in early July this year and kept coming back to this question: why backpacking? We do it for the beauty. On this trip, we walked through burned forests, camped beside mountain streams and frozen lakes, breathed clean mountain air, and watched our world get dark every night and then slowly lighten up every morning. We could see the beauty, hear it, feel it, and smell it. It was absolutely everything. It's true that gorgeous things are everywhere, but what we find high above timberline is like nothing else. Emerald lakes are still frozen in July, rivers flow under snow, ice, and stone, and the mountain ranges are spectacular. We do it for our encounters with the unpredictable. On this trip, we walked through acres of fallen trees. We crossed streams that were higher, colder, and moving faster than we'd expected. I fished some, but most of the lakes we found were frozen. At one point, our route found us in the wreckage of a recent avalanche. Trails disappeared under snowbanks. When we found a cairn on day 5, it seemed like a miracle. One evening, sacked out in the tent during a rainstorm, Zach asked for a story about my life, and I found myself recounting every detail I could think of from a trip to Central America over 20 years ago. Melissa and Zach got to talking one afternoon, and they were at it so long that I decided to go take a nap in the tent, and when I awoke, I went back to the river and they were still talking. We are our own entertainment, and it is what we give to each other. Back home, we have books and shows and videos like this one to watch and enjoy. In the wilderness, the most persistent thing we have is each other. We do it for the physical dimension. Walking all day at altitude over uneven ground is not easy. On the longer days, it seems almost cruel. Our steps are measured and take consideration. On packed days, the extra weight makes shoulders and hips ache and legs burn. This isn't the standard kind of exercise we do before or after work. This is moving all day long. We do it to be unplugged. No email, Facebook, Instagram, text messages, or phone calls. But also no knocks on the door. There is no one who can reach us, and we can't reach anyone else. In these ways, backpacking unlocks a certain freedom and gives us a chance to consider our thoughts, our fears, our habits, our needs, and the nature of our own personalities. There is no news but the news around camp. Checking the weather means looking to the sky for thunderheads. We know it's all temporary, the suspension of being plugged in, but in the time away we get a new sense of the manufactured needs we all live with. We do it for the state of being. When we're backpacking, we think so much about things we never attend to in our normal lives that we begin to feel like different people. The best example of this is that we're always on the lookout for bears. We're not overly freaked out by bears or anything like that, but in bear country, we pay attention. Being on the lookout in this way, after you do it for a few days, changes you. Scanning an area, listening, being prepared, these are aspects of our beings that can become suppressed over time. And when we're on the snow, we look out for soft spots that we might post hole in. When crossing rivers, we watch the currents, the depth, and the water temperature. When it cools off at night, we're careful to put on extra layers. These are things we don't have to do back home. Or maybe I should say, these are things we don't get to do back home. Backpacking awakens these states of being, if only for a while. We do it for the appreciation of our backpacking systems. We are aware that backpackers can be gearheads, and gear can become a distraction. But we appreciate our gear, and with it, we are self-reliant. We have sleeping systems, walking systems, first aid systems, cooking systems, and water purification systems. We have systems that protect us from the sun and the snow, systems for storing our food, systems for crossing ice-cold rivers. Backpacking simply dispenses with certain social norms. We wear the same clothes for a week. When we get dirty, we're dirty, and when we smell, we smell. I'm not saying all taboos or norms disappear, but some do. Fashion gives way to the clothing that works, what keeps the sun off, the bugs off, dries quickly, or keeps us warm is what's best. After this summer's backpacking trip, we immediately started planning our next one. We don't tend to think that the reasons we backpack utterly and totally change us, but it leaves a residue and powerful set of realizations. In the end, we tend to think that you shouldn't really need to go anywhere or do anything special to experience these things, but backpacking makes it possible for us. It may be our crutch, but it's also our catalyst.